It's 7:45 Saturday morning, and I am in Sisters sitting outside the Kiwanis Club because they're having a rummage sale. And you guys know I just moved to Central Oregon, so all of this is new. The thrifting culture is different. What you find is different. I'm excited about this rummage sale because I think it's a big deal. I can see that there's a line out there already. If you're new here, welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Studio Kimberly, where I curate vintage, fine art, and collectibles. I hope you'll consider subscribing while you're here and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Today at the Kiwanis Rummage Sale, I'm going to be looking for not only things for my online shop, StudioKimberly.com, but things for my house here in Central Oregon. I just moved into a house with absolutely nothing in it, not a stick of furniture. So I'm busy getting furniture and decorating and styling and that whole thing. If you're interested in the decorating and styling part, you might want to watch me over on my other channel here on YouTube, Pretty Over 50, and you can see how I completely furnish my home here in the Pacific Northwest, style everything, and I'm trying to do almost everything in the house, 90 to 95% from thrifted finds. So it should be fun if that's of interest for you. Right now, let's go on into the Kiwanis sale and see what we can find. This little town of Sisters is so sweet and cute. It's about 15 minutes west of me, and just that little change in elevation, you get these taller pine trees. It's really darling here. They have an entire collection of artwork here along the wall. So I will spend some time going through this because I certainly could use some artwork for my place. And then I might find something fun for the shop. And then they have quite a bit of decor items, it looks like. And all the way over on the other side of the room is the jewelry table, which I think I might start out right now. Well, I'm not going to go to the jewelry table now because it's absolutely packed. There's no space. So let's go ahead and start looking at the decor items. It's a pretty little plate with a cardinal on it for $2. And then, of course, this is a classic collection. This is Royal Oak, and there's two of them, $2 each. Oh, look at this one with the bunny on it. It's really sweet. And then they have a collection of bells here. Oh, look at that one. That's very pretty. I love bells. You guys know that. And there looks to be quite a little collection. It looks like somebody donated their collection. I think I might want to get this one just because I like the pattern on it. I think that's very sweet. So Christmas items here. There's a cute little snowman. Isn't he sweet? I think that's kind of cute. They have him marked at $3. And then more Christmas items here. Oh, this stocking is pretty. I like that tapestry work on that stocking. They have that priced at $2. The prices here are really good. Look at how pretty that is to hang off the mantle. It's very nice. A little more Christmas. I think this is interesting. This is actually, and I don't know if this is brass or copper. So there's the inside. I'm thinking it might be copper. It's very, very vintage. I think I might pick that up for $2. I think that's a great decor piece. So you have to look at this cat. This is a ceramic or composite cat. It's huge. Here's my hand. Isn't that neat? I think that's really fun. You know, this would be a fun door stopper. It's super, super heavy. It's definitely a way to have a cat without having to feed it, right? Cat by the door. Here's a great antique piece. So this is an old telephone, and this was the earpiece, and you speak into that. I'm wondering, I think it's, they're asking $40 for it. Isn't that neat? It would be a great, interesting piece in your home. Okay, this is really cute. This is for stamps, for a roll of stamps, and they come out on the top. I just think that's kind of cute. So it says U.S. mail stamps. I like that. It's $1. I think I'm going to pick that one up. It's just too cute to pass up. They have several coffee pitchers, the kind that you would see at a convention in the back of the room. So they have a decaf and a coffee. Looks like they're about $34 a piece. More silver. This is a really beautiful pitcher. Very antique. Has a nice patina on it. You know, this would be fun for a utensil holder in the kitchen. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's see what they have it marked at. Silver plate pitcher for $5. That is such a great value. I just think that would make the best utensil container. What do you guys think? Isn't that neat? And those little feet, it elevates it, just gives it a really nice look. Oh, and look at this. Little small silver tray with that floral pattern on the inside. It's really cute. And here are the decor items, at least on this table. There's only a few tables. So this is a large wood piece for $5. You can see it's really tall. And then they have a couple of star candle holders, set of 2 for $2. Oh, what's this? Isn't that fun? Little birds and the flowers. I'm not sure what that is. Do you put a candle there in the center? Is that what you do? So this is $2 and it's all wood. When it comes apart, so I wonder if it'll stand on its own. That's really interesting. Is this a table centerpiece? What do you guys think it is? Put it down in the comments if you think you know. Here's an old crank ice cream maker, and I'm not kidding you. I've had ice cream out of something like this. When I was young, my grandparents would make homemade ice cream, and you crank and crank and crank the handle over here on the side, and it spins around, and eventually you get yummy ice cream, which is the best ice cream on the planet. There's nothing like homemade ice cream. And they do have a small selection of dolls, at least over on this table. A few stuffed pieces. And then right over here, this looks like an old record player. So this comes off. Look at that. Who had a record player? I sure did. In my bedroom. And it played little 45s. So this one is $20. I don't know if it works or not. They actually have a pretty good selection of lamps here. Look at this one. Yeah, it's really old. And you see that at the base there? And then the electrical cord is quite old. You could see that. So you'd probably want to rewire it. I don't see a price on this one, but boy, that's so interesting. Old antique. Oh, okay. So it says all table lamps are $5 each. I wonder if that includes the shades. Maybe the shades are separate. But they have a stack of shades right here. Maybe you can pick the one that you want to go with the lamp that you're looking at. So they have a really eclectic selection. Oh, I think this one is cute with that wood base. And actually that shade is so interesting. That looks very vintage to me. This is the other table. So there's two tables with decor items. And then over on the far wall is the jewelry table. And this looks to be a selection of teacups. So these are always very sweet. I'm not sure what the price is. Okay, it looks like they're $1 each. Cup and saucer set, $1. Most of them look like they're in great shape without any chips. Look at this one, is pretty. And then here's a green and gold set right here. Very sweet. These are fun to use for containers, like putting your Q-tips in or your jewelry. It just makes it that much nicer to have a pretty container for whatever it is you're storing. Look at this piece. This looks like the founding fathers or something back in the Pilgrim days. It's a ceramic piece. I can't really read what's on the bottom, but I'm sure it's very vintage. And they're asking $1. I like the coloration on that. It's nice. This is really a pretty glass piece. They're asking $3 for it. Isn't that pretty? It almost looks like it's very new. It's probably from a decor store like Home Goods or something like that. But I think the colorway is really pretty, and that pattern is as well. Here's a very, very old teapot. A little bit of crazing on it, but not a lot. It has a little bit of wear, but I don't see... Oh, there is a chip right there at the very front. And they're asking $3 for this. I made my way over to the jewelry table because the initial crowd had kind of died down. It was just elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder over here a few minutes ago. So this looks like mostly the costume necklaces. And then here is more sort of boho ethnic pieces. This is mostly costume jewelry. I think there is a container with silver. This is a pretty piece right here. That's a great costume piece with those crystals. They're asking $4 for that. I might pick that up. It's just an affordable way to have a pretty necklace. Another pretty piece. What does that say? Oh, it's a Napier. Well, that's a vintage Napier. I might pick that up as well because that's a fun vintage piece. This Napier. What are they asking? They're asking $4. So I think I'm going to get these two. Add those. So this is the silver tone jewelry they have here. It's not the sterling, but the silver tone. And then the gold tone is right over here. They have a spinner with earrings. Here's the bracelets. And again, this is the costume pieces. I pretty much looked through all the decor items, so what I'm going to do now is get down on my hands and knees and go through all this artwork because there's quite a bit. Most of it at first glance looks to be prints, I'm going to see if there's any originals. And the pricing is all art. I don't know if you guys can read that. $10 each or 3 for $25. The sale goes outside too, onto the sidewalk. And this is the tool area. Here's some old trunks. One's marked $20. This one's $20 as well. These are really neat decor items. If you can find one that's in the condition that you like and the color you like, they just make a neat statement. This one looks to be much older. And then on top, an old birdcage for $25. That's pretty cute. So this old trunk is $50. Oh, look, I just found the decor pillows. I certainly need pillows for my place. Looks like they have a really wide selection. So it says all throw pillows, $5. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes looking here if there's something that will work for my house, because I definitely do need pillows. A lot of what they sell here at the Kiwanis sale, and this is an annual sale, and they get a large portion of their operating funds from this sale. So furniture is a big deal, and there's actually quite a bit of furniture here. It looks like a lot of it is antique. For instance, this secretary is $50. And then there's a couple of tables over here that are really beautiful. Both of them are marked at $75. Here's an old antique desk. Look at how beautiful this is with all the drawers. Oh my gosh, this is in such good shape. Look at the inside of that drawer. And it has a little cubby right here. I think this is so fun. And then look at the beautiful woodworking on this piece. Isn't that gorgeous? I have no idea what the year is. If you do, if you know about antique furniture, put it down in the comments below. So there's a look at the whole piece. And they're asking $200 for this one. And then right next to it is a kind of dresser. And this one is $30. And on top of that, look, it's an old wood magazine rack. We need to come up with a good idea for magazine racks, because I know most of us don't have magazines anymore. This one is all wood and it's $10. I was looking at this bench and I couldn't figure out what it was for, but because it has that area on the top that's, you know, cubed off or some kind of work area. Then I looked over at the tag. It's a vintage cobbler's bench. Isn't that interesting? It's in good shape. That would be kind of cool to put by the front door, you know, to put your shoes on or that sort of thing. And maybe you could put some decor items in there. That would be fun. So here's more of the furniture selection outside. It's a glass coffee table here. Hi. And then dressers over here. This one is nice. This is newer. 3-drawer, really good condition for $65. It has metal pulls. Looks to be wood. Oh, and it has the nice rolling drawers. Wow, what a good buy this is, if that is your furniture style. And then this is an antique tall wood cabinet for $100. Has the locking one. This must have been for the liquor cabinet, and you lock it up from the kids. $2. And did you say you had a tag for something else? This is an interesting secretary. So it opens up and it has the storage in here. This would be a great piece to refinish and put a neat coat of paint on because of the style. They also have a selection of chairs. This is a very antique piece. It's $10. That would be great to refinish and maybe, redo the upholstery on the seat. And then more pieces over here. Here's a neat vintage chair. It's all wood. I like the design in that it's just a little simpler. They're asking $25 for it. And this would not necessarily need to be refinished so much as just maybe a good wood oiling and maybe just a little bit of color repair. It's in pretty good shape. I had a fun time at the Sisters Kiwanis rummage sale. It was fun to be there because this was the way that they get most of their funding throughout the year. So I was glad I went, and Sisters is such a beautiful little mountain town. It really is. If you're from Northern California and you've ever been to Truckee, it's like Truckee of the North. And that's what I said to my daughter when she was up here. My daughter drove with me when I moved here. I said, this is like Truckee of the North. And she said, yeah, we went there. It's really, really cute little town. So I was glad to be able to go out and support the Kiwanis. I did get a few pieces there, although it wasn't a huge sale. There was a lot of furniture, nothing that I needed, some home goods and some jewelry. So I did pick up a few home goods. The first piece I got was this, and it has a little bit of adhesive things that I need to clean off. This is going to be for my house. This is a silver plated tray. And let me tell you what I'm going to use this for. Because I have an open concept kitchen, the kitchen and the living room are all one unit, one space, and the sink is what faces the living room. So when you have your things like your soap and your little spongy thing or whatever it is you use for your dishes, it's just sitting on the counter there. And I was thinking, how can I make that look a little bit better? So I picked up this silver tray, and I'm going to get a glass soap dispenser, a pretty one, and put it in this on the counter. So then it looks a little bit nicer than just like, a jug of dish soap sitting on the counter. I'm gonna kind of dress it up a little bit, and I probably could put like a small little bottle of hand lotion there or hand soap. So this tray, this little silver plated tray, very, very vintage, probably antique, really, really pretty patina on it. That's gonna go on my kitchen counter. The other home decor item that I got at the sale is this really cool sculpted, this is copper. This is a copper pot. It's hard to tell, but you can see right there the copper on the inside. Here's the inside of the bowl. This is a really neat little container. It has a very, very vintage tag on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. This is just such a unique decor item. It's going to be a little bit more copper colored by the time I get it up in the shop, so you guys can take a look at what you can transform copper and how you can do it, I use a combination of white vinegar, just inexpensive white vinegar. You know, you can get a huge tub in the grocery store for 99 cents almost, and salt. Salt is the abrasive, so I'm going to pour vinegar on it and use some salt, and this is going to clean up and have a much more warm, rich tone from the copper. I did pick this up just because I thought it was so stinking cute. This is for stamps. I don't think this is vintage, but I just thought it was adorable. A little bitty postal, what do they call those? Where you put your mail in? Isn't that cute? And then you put the little roll of stamps inside there. I just thought that was so stinking cute. So I went ahead and put it in my box at the Kiwanis Rummage sale. And then I picked up 2 pieces of jewelry. Neither one of them are fine jewelry. They're both costume jewelry, but they're neat pieces of costume jewelry. The first one is this vintage Napier costume necklace. So it's cream colored and gold tone. It's in excellent condition. Here, let me give you guys a close-up to the condition. I don't even know that it's been worn hardly. It just looks absolutely brand new. So this is vintage Napier. It has a fold-over clasp. Really, really good shape, and this is really wearable. That's one thing that I look for when I'm looking for jewelry. Of course, you know, the really cool antique collectible jewelry is great, but I usually look for wearable jewelry because I want you guys to be able to wear it with your outfits, and it just makes such a difference if you have a great piece of jewelry. So this is a vintage Napier costume necklace. And then I did pick up this. This is, of course, a dupe of the Swarovski bezel set crystal necklaces. This is not that, although it's a good one. It's a good one. It looks good. It's in really good condition. This is just costume, but the crystals look pretty good. And then the, you know, with the black accent, it's a nice piece. So these will both be up in the shop. And again, they're just costume pieces, but both really, really wearable. So on my way home from the Kiwanis, I ended up seeing an estate sale sign. So I slammed on the brakes, backed up, and turned down. And this area, you know, in between where I live and Sisters, it's pretty rural. Lots of farms, cows, pastures, fields, the whole thing. And this particular estate sale or yard sale was at an old farmhouse, and the sale itself was actually in the barn. And each stall in the barn was a different type of item. You know, like they had one for clothes and shoes and one for electronics. So the horses were gone, but the stalls were still being used. And I found one piece at this yard sale. And I'll tell you what, I am so excited about it. It is like actually almost one of my favorite pieces that I've found thrifting. It's not going to be up in the shop. It's going to be for my house here in the Pacific Northwest. And it's a painting. And I have not been able to determine if it's a print on canvas or if it's an original. Now, I worked as an illustrator for over 30 years, so I know my way around art, but I still can't tell. If this is a print, it's so good. But wait till you guys see this. Look at that. I love this painting so much because it is so very mountainy. I mean, it is the quintessential mountain painting. That is a buck with mountains in the background. How beautiful is that? I'll give you a little close-up here. Isn't that just something so fun? I just love this. This is so classic, so vintage, so Pacific Northwest. I mean, it really is. And you can see it's very, very old. I mean, it's a vintage piece, the way it's been framed. And I cannot tell. I can't tell if this is an original or a print on canvas. I'll do some more research on it. I paid $4 for this. I'm not kidding you, $4. And I absolutely love it. After my little yard sale adventure, I headed over to the Deschutes County Fairgrounds, which I'd never been to, but it's really a nice fairgrounds because they were having a swap meet or a flea market inside. So I went ahead and just did a little loop around that, and I found a few things. This first one is so stinking fun. I can't even believe I found it. It is a cutting board with chickens on it, with a mosaic of chickens. How fun is that? I just love that. This is some kind of inlay work. I'm gonna go ahead and wood oil this up and clean it up. So you could use this not for a charcuterie board, but for a chickooterie board. Get it, chickens? Chickooterie? I know, bad joke. Isn't that just so cute? Very, very one of a kind. I'm sure this is handmade. Isn't that fun? And then at this indoor flea market, I met a woman who had lived and worked in Japan for a few decades. She's retired now, so she's back living in the Pacific Northwest, but she brought a whole lot of artwork back with her. Look at this. This is original watercolor on this very unique type of paper that they do in Asia. Isn't that pretty? I just love this piece. Really soft, really, really pretty. I got a few of these that I thought were just gorgeous. This almost looks like paper mache. Isn't that pretty? So a very beautiful floral. This looks like paper mache in that it's raised in this area here. And look at the brushwork on the watercolor. Isn't that nice? And then I have two more. This is more traditional floral, Asian traditional floral. Isn't that nice? And then they have the markings on the back. So this one is still in its plastic covering, has never really been used or mounted anywhere. And then this last one is more of a woodcut type print, and that looks like a traditional home in Japan in that woodcut. And these will all be up in the shop. I just thought that they were really interesting and just really unique. Well, that's my haul from my time with the Kiwanis, the interesting yard sale in the barn, and the flea market at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds. I hope you guys had fun. I sure did. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Studio Kimberly, where I curate vintage, fine art, and collectibles. Everything that you've seen today, most everything except for that beautiful painting of the buck, will be up in my online shop at StudioKimberly.com, and I'll have that listed in the description box down below. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.